So 9 points the margin. Still 8.5 to play in this second term. Let's get pushed up towards half forward for the Lions. Strong tackle by Dooley. In the end, Mullen swoops on it. Just a kick round the corner. An attempt by Hampson. Potter under pressure. Mullins again. Send them inside 50. Oh, this one's trickling over the back. It's dangerous. And Taylor again. Just felt the pressure. Knew she wasn't in the right position. And probably almost couldn't even see where the ball was. I just thought she'd have a go on the tackle.
It's the awkward one where you lay the tackle and you think your opponent still has hold of the footy because they're actually between you and where the ball has ended up. So just lingered, free kick there, but uncontested possession is where Brisbane have turned this around in the second term. Plus 21 now as Ethan Zanker heads straight back out there.
So Hampson can kick for their second. 2 in a minute, she's done it. And that margin's whittled down to 3. So Jay's mentioned how quickly they can hurt you on the scoreboard, the Lions. Although Melbourne have had the better run of the play so far in this one. The Lions with a couple to Davidson and Hampson. Only 2 goals in this term. They're back in the ball game.
Well, Ellie Hampson, such an important role player for this Brisbane Lions team, and just a pressure player. The free kick was there. Holding didn't have possession of the footy, but this is the part of her game that she does so well. Her set shot kicking makes teams pay if she gets the opportunity. So important part of Brisbane's structure back out there now.
Suddenly we're back to 3 points. A bit of pressure now on Melbourne, because Brisbane have the momentum. Dawes. Hartle thought about the give, then reeled it back in. That was clever. A bit to O'Dwyer. Kick inside 50. Hampson. Brisbane pressing again. Dooley couldn't get a kindly bounce. Was taken down illegally. And Nessa Dooley will have an opportunity to put Brisbane in front.
Well, as you said, Jace, if you don't make the most of your opportunities, at some point the other team will get them, especially a team like Brisbane. I think that, from what I just saw on that replay, that looked like it was in the side, but adjudicated to be push in the back, which is the resulting free kick. Hard to tell from the angle, but either way, it'll be a set shot on goal for the Lions.
Nessa Dooley, 12th game of Australian rules football, their first season. She's kicked 9-9 for the year. Bang, bang, bang. Just like that, Brisbane lead. Three in a hurry for the Lions after taking the best part of a quarter and a half to get on the board. And now time for Melbourne to steady and respond. Three goals in a hurry for Brisbane. Nat, some good news downstairs?
Some great news for Brisbane Lions fans. Jen Dunn, their star defender, has emerged from the rooms. Her right knee is heavily taped, but she's been cleared to go back on the ground. And just a note from Melbourne's camp, Mick Stanier, their coach, has come down from the coach's box to coach on the bench this quarter.
All 3 of the goals this quarter for Brisbane have come from free kicks.
They just panicked a little bit, haven't they, the Melbourne defenders? It's Heath from the middle. It's Dawes, though, again. Core. Nice to put a stop to that. This Fark was trying to borrow through. Dawes did well to get a hand in on Heath's hand pass. Conway to Anderson, the 1-2 with Dawes, and they find a little bit of space. Ryder sends him inside 50. Ruby Spark just put the spoil on in the end. Hodder with a hand pass to space. Davidson is there. Spins around the corner. Ruby Spark just got a hand in front. Conway goes through underneath, and Hall, the captain, says, give it to me, let's clear the area. Wide towards goal. Marnie on the bottom of the pack.
Dawes, Anderson, Conway, Kate, 18 touches between them in this quarter.
Yeah, and then you look at Kate Hoare, who's getting that tag from Kathy Spark for 3 touches. That was just her second kick for the term.
Fitzsimon taken down by Anderson. So right now the most impactful players on the ground are Brisbane's midfielders. That's where they're wrenching control of the game away from Melbourne. The D's need to respond. Here's Fitzsimon. He'll get there first. Under enormous pressure though. Handball from Dooley. Anderson stepped through some traffic. Releases O'Dwyer. Back to Dooley. Gets the throws it on the boot. Well done O'Hare. Got the smother in it. Ricocheted to Taylor. Brisbane will come again though through O'Dwyer. Looks to feed it back inside, but it's all D's. Fitzsimon towards the wing. 2-on-2. Gall at the front. It's clipped high. Melbourne fans like that. They need to release the pressure, get it down their end and respond.
Just need to slow down and take some time with the footy in hand because they haven't had clean possession of the ball all quarter, it feels.
Gall to half forward. Bannon got separation on Campbell, didn't complete the grab. McNamara's handball was clever. Released Marnie. Kick inside 50. Ellinger in best position here to gather. Wotherspoon will look to run her down. Handball to Conway. Kick partly smothered. Spark of the Ruby variety. Blast past Heath. Kick on the inside is good, and here's Anderson again.
Anderson skips away from Paxman and looks out wide. O'Dwyer dropped it. Ball in her pocket. It's time to pick it up and consider options inside 50. Looks towards Spark. Goes over it initially. Potter, always dangerous. Tackle, drop the footy. Kate Hoare really trying to lift her D's if the Lions have wrenched momentum away from them.
We hear all about captain's goals. That was a captain's tackle to lay that on Courtney Hodder, who was trying to find her right boot and have a shot on goal. That was huge from Kate Hoare.
Uncontested possessions this quarter, Joe. 47-10 in favour of Brisbane. We talk about how good they are when they get uncontested footy. Well, we're seeing it.
Yeah, they really dominated the play there as O'Hare. There's a solid bump from Hodder. Able to complete the mark. Just the one behind for the D's in this term. 3 goals to the Lions. Mackin flips it out towards Hanks. Fitzsimon tries to tap it on towards McNamara. And it'll be tossed in.
Inside 50s to 4 in this second quarter. You feel like Melbourne, they would love to get an opportunity in their front half in the last 2 minutes 30 of this term.
Well, both teams have had periods of the game where they've been comprehensively outplayed. The good news is it's just a 3-point game. McNamara's kick to 50. Dealt with late. Downfield free kick. It's going to come back to Fitzsimon. She doesn't realise it's her ball. In fact, she's going to bring it back to Marnie. There's a bit of general confusion here as to who has it. Maggie Marnie will receive it just outside 50.
Big pocket of space in that forward pocket where Taylor Harris has just popped up.
Bannon there as well. She offers a lead. As Marnie head in that direction, she'll launch it high and long. Brisbane will try to kill it. Hickey over the top. Fitzsimon, great gather. But under pressure, sprays it wide. Out of bounds on the full. Can the D's now lock it in? They've got less than 2 minutes to try and snatch the lead back before the half.
Goes out long. Fans near the boundary line. Oh, a little shot from McNamara after 2, and she's been pinged for it as well. There's a bit of feeling. Davidson let her know about it. And as Postlethwaite was dealt with after the ball went over the boundary line. A few ill-disciplined acts from the D's in this second term. It goes out towards Davidson, who gets a solid spoil from Gillard. The legal one, said the umpire. And then gets a little drive-by from McNamara too. Getting a feeling in this final. Davidson. It's long. Hampson under pressure, couldn't complete the mark. The boundary throw in.
Good show of 2 really solid defensive units, isn't it? Behind the ball, yes, it's been a really nice attacking game of football, but if you don't hit your target inside forward 50, the defence from the other team is just going to take it and rebound straight back at you. Such solid defensive units, both of these teams.
Huge news down here on the bench. Eden Zanker, Melbourne's star forward, has been ruled out of the game with concussion.
Thanks, Nat. More on that at half-time. Melbourne ranks second in defence, Brisbane fourth, to Kate's point. The D's, maybe a late chance here. A minute to play in the half. Fitzsimon has it. It's been a better 2 or 3 minutes from them. They've had it at their end of the ground. Can they now capitalise? Wotherspoon needs the handle. McNamara off a step to 50. Bannon's got a couple to go against in the air. Lee's got it to ground. And they can set up 60 from goal with 47 seconds remaining. There is Eden Zanker looking disappointed.
So, Jace, she actually passed the SCAP 6 test, so she was cleared, but out of extra caution, the Ds have decided to bench her for the rest of the game.
Thanks, Nat. So that will have an impact on the future in terms of whether she's available next week. If they win, of course, they get the week off.
That's a grey area, because is she out with concussion? And if she's passed the test, she's not out with concussion and could play next week. That's very confusing.
Yeah, more on that post-game. Technically, you'd say she'd be available next week, and they're just doing it out of an abundance of caution. As we say, more on that during the week, no doubt. Ellinger. That kick's going to float wide, too wide. So the D's will get another chance. Clock ticks to 19. Can they find a target inside 50? Bannon's the main marking option. Gillard pushes forward now. She kicked her first goal of her career last week in game number 46. Lauren Pearce has it. Next option's a short one. Kate Hoare now will need to move it on quickly with 15 seconds. Steps around Dawes, gets to 50, kick towards the pocket. Spoiled to the front, picked up Fitzsimons, dumped off the kick. Quick hands, Conway, that's going out on the full. Brisbane now struggling against the clock. Hanging out for the siren with just a couple of seconds remaining. It's beyond the range of Kate Hoare, surely. If the siren goes, she'd have no choice but to launch. Might go with the ball in the air. Short option. Misses the target. Would have been on. And Brisbane survived late. And at half-time, the Lions have snatched the lead. It was Melbourne by 14 points at quarter-time. The D's held to a single behind in that second term, while Brisbane kicked 3 straight goals. And at the half, in our second qualifying final, it's Brisbane 3-1-19, Melbourne 2-4-16. As we head down to Nat.
I have Kathy Spark with me. Kathy, what a turnaround in that quarter. What was the message at quarter time from the coach?
Yeah, I think we just wanted to try and get territory. Like, we probably overused it a little bit in that first quarter, and so just getting it forward, you know, it's such a high-pressure game out there. Like, Melbourne are bringing such a great game, so yeah, we just want to get that territory, and obviously we were able to put that scoreboard pressure on.
Now, Kate Hoare had a absolutely cracking first term, and then we noticed that the first bounce in the second term, you went straight to her. How do you prepare for something like that?
Yeah, I think, you know, they all have their different strengths. The girls in the midfield there, Tyler and Kate, yeah, they're great players, so you've got to respect them and, you know, tighten up on them a little bit like Kate did in that first quarter. So I thought we did really well as a group to sort of get that back on our terms a bit.
Very humble. You're doing a great job out there. Go have a breather and we'll see you in the second half.
Thanks.
Kathy Spark there. It is halftime here at Icon Park. It is the Brisbane Lions in this second qualifying final leading the Demons. We'll unpack all of the first half action on the other side of the break.
All right, folks, there we go. Welcome in, everyone. Hey, Ryan, how you doing, Squire? Good to see you here. Who are you going for, Melbourne or Brisbane? I tell you what, this second qualifying finals are a ding of a game. It's a tight one. This is anybody's game. And, of course, my pick was Brisbane, but Melbourne are going really well, aren't they? 3-1-19 Brisbane Lions, leading Melbourne 2-4-16. So the Lions by 3 points, 6 scoring shots to 4. Melbourne doing really well. They've been in front the entire game up until that final goal that Brisbane kicked. As you can see on the worm here, of course, the first goal scorer of the game was Talia Harris in this second qualifying final today. It's a fantastic day down here at Icon Park in Melbourne. Beautiful day. The weather's nice outside. It's probably about 12 degrees, but the sun, a little bit of sun poking through there. So it's nice for all players and spectators alike out at Icon Park. We're going to just pop on in, have a look at some of the player stats. Let's have a look at the goal scorers before the commentators get back to give us a little bit of analysis on the opening half. There we go. For Melbourne, Kate Hoare and Talia Harris, they're the goal scorers there for Melbourne. And, of course, for the Brisbane Lions, Ellie Hampson, Nisa Dooley and Dakota Davidson all was singles for there. Yo, Eddie G, what's happening? What's going on? Tell you what, it's a pretty good game here, Eddie G. I'll tell you what, she's a tight one. Certainly different from the first two finals that have been played so far, which have been big blowouts. But this one is a tight one. Hard to pick a winner. Kate Hawke tops the table with 16 there for Melbourne. 13 kicks, 3 handballs, 3 marks, 2 tackles, 4 clearances, 1 goal, 1. She's doing it all. She's having a cracking game. Alexandra Anderson also equal on 16 disposals up until half-time for the Brisbane Lions. She's had 8 and 8, couple marks, 3 tackles and a clearance going well. O'Dwyer for Brisbane, 15 next best. McNamara, 13 for Melbourne. And, of course, Isabel Dawes on 13 also for the Brisbane Lions. And the other girls in double figures, Sophie Conway, Brenna Conan, and, of course, Jade Ellinger for Brisbane. Alyssa Bannon on 11. There we go. There your top possession getters. Out on the ground, all in double figures up until half-time. Dakota Davis, and there's one you want to keep an eye on. She's like a big game player there for the Brisbane Lions. The forward down there, she's had 8, 5 kicks, 3 handballs, a mark and a tackle. She's kicked a sausage roll, a little bit better than her last game. She kicked about 4 or 5 behinds. So at least she's a little bit straighter today, even though it going at 20% on her kicking for goal. Still pretty good there for Dakota Davison. There we go. I'll just roll down. Catherine Svark on 6. Mullins on 6 there for the Lions. A couple more there for Melbourne. Tyler Hanks on 6. Talia Gillard on 6. And, of course, Shelley Heath also on 6. We'll have a little bit of a look at the team stats in a moment. You would think these would be pretty level, but we'll just have a look. But it's not actually. It is plus 39 disposal count overall of Brisbane Lions. 160, 121. They've got a big number there on the disposal count so far. And, of course, most of those comes in the handballs. They're plus 34 in the handballs. Doing a lot of handballs today are the Brisbane Lions. Inside forward 50. Melbourne having plenty of the action there. 22 for their 6 scoring shots. Brisbane Lions been inside forward 50. 17 times for 4 scoring shots. Free kicks 12 to 10. They're plus 2 Melbourne. The hit outs, Melbourne doing well there. Plus 4 clearances. All pretty well level, 11 to 12. Brisbane plus 1 there, but the centre clearances, Melbourne dominating. Melbourne getting dominated, 5 to 1. So Brisbane plus 4 in the centre clearances. Melbourne plus 3 in the stoppages. Contested, tell you what, she's pretty even. This is what I was talking about. A beautifully contested game. There's 67-68. Brisbane plus 1 there. Uncontested, 92-54. Brisbane certainly got the ball in hand a fair bit more, just controlling the uncontested game as they do. There we go. Marks inside 50. Melbourne hitting the target beautifully at 5. Brisbane Lions yet to take a mark inside forward 50. We should see the tackle count. This is what we like from Melbourne. High tackles count here, 32-25. They're plus 7. Brisbane certainly need to lift this in their game in the second half. And, of course, the tackles inside forward 50, 6 to 2. Melbourne doing well. They're plus 4 there. All right, let's head back down to the commentators. They'll give us a little bit of a wrap-up on the opening half.
It trickles out of bounds, and then Brisbane, they go back down the other end. Yes, they get 3 goals for the term. Yes, their results are free kicks, but pretty much all of them were there for mine. So Melbourne didn't make the most of their opportunity, and Brisbane now lead this game at half-time.
Melbourne's super undisciplined as well, which is unlike them and those midfielders from the Brisbane Lions just getting on top. Just run us through a couple of numbers.
Yeah, so Anderson, Dawes, they had 9 apiece in that second term alone, and Sophie Conway on the wing had 8. So it was the engine room that really got going for the Lions in that second term.
Well, one of the big news stories from the first half of football here at Icon Park has been Melbourne star forward Eden Zanker, who has gone down with an injury. You can see here, just cops a knock. Now, went down, Kate, and had a SCAT 6, was cleared by the club doctors of concussion, but as an extra precaution, they have decided to rule her out for the rest of the game. The club tells me that they are unsure whether she will be able to play again next week should the D's lose today and have to play again.
Yeah, I would assume that probably comes down to some clarification from the league, to be honest, because if she has passed the SCAT 6, which is the test that they usually put in place. There is also some other mechanisms around whether you're showing symptoms and signs and what
Delayed
that might
concussion.
be. So that's definitely a watch heading into next week. Melbourne may not have to play next week, so it might not be a problem, but if they do, that will definitely be a story heading into next week's finals.
They'll be hoping they're straight through to a preliminary final, that is for sure. We've got a huge second half of football coming to you from Icon Park. It's the Brisbane Lions leading the Demons by 3 points. We'll see you on the other side of this. Not far away, it is the Lions leading the Demons by 3 points, and Brisbane coach Craig Starcevich has been good enough to join us. Stars, a cracking contest so far, but that second term, your midfielders really stepped up a notch.
Yeah, they did actually, because I think Kate Hall had 10 touches in the first quarter, so we were able to quell her a little bit, but it's sort of like, you know, are we absorbing pressure or are we delivering pressure? So that's a finals game. You've got to sort of, there'll be moments where you've got to do a bit of both. We're a little bit more, direct with our ball movement as well, and got inside 50 and put them under pressure. So, yeah, a little bit more of that, hopefully.
And what was the message at halftime?
All of that.
Yeah.
actually. Yeah, just to not overuse the ball. It's a final. You know, mistakes are going to happen, but if you take some territory and get it in there, you're half a chance and lock it in.
Well, best of luck. Thanks for joining us.
Good on you. Thank you. Cheers.
So Craig Starcevich and Mixton here, both coached around the 100-game mark, both going at 71% win rate. That's incredibly consistent across the first 10 seasons of the competition. It's that old hunted versus hunter sort of mentality, Kate. And for the first quarter and a bit, Melbourne were definitely the hunters, and Brisbane flipped it. 3 goals in 4 minutes from the 8-minute mark of the second term. In that time, 13 possessions to 1, 3 inside 50s, 3 goals Brisbane.
Yep, Brisbane got everything back on their terms in the second quarter, didn't they? Exactly what Stars just said then. Played a little bit more territory. They want to get the ball forward at all costs, which in finals football, that's what you've got to do. Put the other team under pressure defensively. You feel like both of these teams, if they have their opportunities inside forward 50, eventually they will make hay where the sun shines. But it's the team that can get the ball most in that front half that's going to make the most of this game. So
Eden Zanker out for the second half, being ruled out by the Ds. Past the HIA, and Melbourne with an abundance of caution have said no, we're going to sit her nonetheless. Kathy Spark had the job on Kate Hoare in the second term. 10 touches for Kate in the first, 6 in the second. So now the pressure back on Melbourne to respond. They were so good for the first quarter and a bit. Brisbane responded. Half a quarter to decide who gets the home prelim final.
Brisbane lead it by 3. There is Hoare through the middle. Spark with a strong tackle over the top. This time Spark on Pearce. Hoare goes again. Gets a couple of metres with the hand pass. McNamara tries to do the same. Ellinger gets an unkind bounce and is held onto by Fitzsimon. So Ellinger wanting to move it quickly. Kick ill-directed. We've heard from Starcevich. They want to be a bit more direct with their ball movement. There's that kick for Paxman. Just slips through the fingers. Under pressure. Going to ground. Witherspoon tries to make some space. Campbell on hands and knees. And the umpire will have to come in and sort it out. And they're just going to blow the whistle as off play. It's Marnie who's feeling the effects of the last contest, able to jog it off now. So we can resume with the ball up. Paxman loses out to Hickey. Hoare, who's really trying to lift her side. Gets it off to Hanks. She needs a bit more from Hanks. Paxman looks to find a target, wants Bannon. Conan is there. And goes for territory for Spark. What a kick from Conan. Spark unable to take the mark, but good enough to get it to Conway, who goes down the wing and Hodder has it.
And that kick going inside 50 for Melbourne, the player that's usually at the top of the square ready to take those marks is Eden Zanker. So Bannon needs to just compete a little bit better in those contests if she can.
Davidson on the burst, marks in front of Taylor. Looks up as Taylor Smith at the back in this contest against Gillard. The kick will go over the top of the contest. Gillard's been superb so far today. Lampard fashions a kick. McNamara gathers inside the line. Well done, Davidson. Took it off her boot. And we saw a couple of Melbourne players in Hanks and Paxman, who've both been pretty quiet at the other end of the ground. Beautiful work there from Davidson. Hanks just the 6 touches, averaging 24 a game. And Paxman has had just the 4 touches, averaging 16 a game. So they're 2 players that Mixton here would definitely be looking for more of in the second half of football.
Absolutely, as Pearce tries to flip it out towards McNamara. Thrown out of it by Anderson. A double grab, but she's been taken high. Simon a little untidy with the tackle.
It's the inside mids that need to get going. Definitely Hanks has to start getting some footy.
As Anderson hits Davidson on the lead.
That's where all the damage is being done for Brisbane. Even then, that free kick, it was 2 Brisbane players going to the footy. No Ds in sight, except for that one that was laying the tackle. So just need to get numbers around the footy.
Davidson looking to pop this one up. Wants a mark. Gets out the back. Hodder's always dangerous. And she makes them pay. Courtney Hodder. Melbourne defenders had it covered in the air, but as soon as it hit ground level, it was all Brisbane. And Hodder makes it 4 in a row for the Lions to extend their lead to 9 points.
good spot to put the footy. Just put it to a dangerous position. And if you come off your player, you have to impact. It was Molly O'Hare there, had a play at the footy, could have taken the mark, but didn't. Slips through the fingertips, and then her direct opponent, who's waiting at ground level, Courtney Hodder, makes the most of it.
So Hanks, Hoare and Fitzsimon, the three in the middle for the Ds. Kathy Spark, Fitzsimon in over the top. McNamara waiting for it to come out. It does not. So normally Liv Purcell would be in there for Melbourne, but she's out for the rest of the year with a knee. Sinead Goldrick a week away from her eye injury. Return next week, should the Ds have to play next week. But a question mark over Eden Zanker. Fitzsimon, Pearce. Here's Anderson. Pops it for O'Dwyer. Oilers away through the front of the square. Drives it inside 50. Davidson out position. That's a great grab by Taylor. Had a couple of jittery moments. That's a really good grab.
Absolutely. Kicks it to Gillard, partner in crime.
I feel like essentially since Kathy Spark has gone to Kate Hoare, that has turned this game on its head, hasn't it? It's given them less ball use through the middle. The mids from Melbourne haven't been able to pick up the slack that Kate Hoare ultimately hasn't been able to get now that Kathy Spark is just putting an arm across at every stoppage. So need the likes of Fitzsimon in the midfield, Tyler Hanks to really get to work here.
And that was Hanks' sixth disposal. Flips out the back. Waterspoon crunched. The umpire to ball it up. Just a little sore Waterspoon as she runs for a change on the interchange bench. Hoare perhaps tackled without it. Well played by Kate Hoare. She's been the one who's really tried to lift, gain the momentum. Hanks.
Get it back here.
Yeah, she might give it back. Gets the run around from Hoare. Looks inside, 50, it drops, and Marnie was awake to it.
How's the difference with Kathy Spark on the bench?
Yeah, and that is Kate Hoare to a T. She is doing everything humanly possible to try and wheel her team over the line here. She just needs some help. She needs some midfielders to come with her, because how is that delivery? But Brisbane just switching off ever so slightly there. They've clearly circled her name on the whiteboard. You can't allow her to get one possession and then get a handball back.
And the margin's only 9, but you feel like this is a really important kick for the Ds to gather back a bit of momentum. It was never in doubt off the boot of Maggie Marnie. She's got her first goal. And what a moment to get it to. Game number 11. That margin back to 3 points.
Stand by my previous statement. The Kathy Spark tag on Kate Hoare is what's changing this game, because Kathy Spark's on the bench and Kate Hoare's had two involvements that's led directly to a score assist. So Kate Hoare, take a bow. She is showing why she is one of the premier players of the competition out there this afternoon, but she needs some help.
D's with their first goal since the opening term. Maggie Marnie, the 19-year-old, started her football at Glen Iris in the under-8. She was the only girl in the team. Kicks her first AFLW goal, and the margin is back to 3 points. Can Melbourne find a surge of adrenaline off the back of this? Guess who? Kate Hoare. The message will surely be going out to Kathy Spark. Get back on the ground as soon as you can. Lampard's run down. Great tackle. Ruby Spark. Dunn came flying past. Ruby thought better of it. Short to Dawes, who runs away from Hanks. Looks for an option. Goes to Davidson. Well done, Gillard with the fist. Heath, the crumb. Lampard just pulled the kick to Paxman. Paxi tries to sock it her own advantage. Dooley comes through. Ball slapped out. Harris started well, been quiet. You could say the same about a number of Ds. So good in the first quarter and a bit, but they seem to be rallying a bit here.
This next 5 minutes is huge in the context of this match. Who can get the upper hand here in this third term?
Hurried kick inside 50. Skips away from most except Hampson. Able to get a hand pass away. Hodder lurking. Rigoni goes in over the top. Hodder almost sitting on it in the end. Umpire lets them go before coming in to clear it up. So Brisbane yet to defeat Melbourne in a final. This is the third time they've met in a final. Hanks overran it, and then Campbell didn't get boot to ball in the tackle. And Davidson is going to have the resultant free kick.
She's a big boot, Dakota Davidson. I think she's going to do what most key forwards should in a big moment like this. Take the moment, have a shot.
Kicked one from the boundary at the other end in the second term to get them rolling. Set sail. It's not going to score off hands. Again, Campbell under pressure. Hanks goes to McNamara or the boundary line. You can hear the cries were deliberate. The umpire didn't see it that way. It's to be a boundary throw in deep inside the lines, attacking 50.
Campbell will go in the ruck against Davidson. Ruby Spark on the move at the front. Headed in that direction. Here's Hodder as well, lurking towards the line.
That looked dangerous from a Brisbane perspective. It was Charlotte Mullins, Courtney Hodder, Ruby Spark, all running at speed through the stoppage.
Giving themselves plenty of room at the front of this stoppage too, Kate. Look at the setup here. Again, they start defensive side and want to try to come through. Heath gets in the way. Mackin, O'Dwyer tried to squeeze it through traffic. Heath again was clean. Handball missed the target though. Here's Mullins. Great step. Straightens up. Goes for it and kicks up guilty. Beautiful finish from Charlotte Mullins. And Brisbane just continue to turn the pressure. Margin back out to 9 points. Kathy Sparks had her rest. She's heading back out to the middle.
In defensive 50, it's so important to all be on the same page. Every Melbourne player thinks this is going boundary side because that's where you want to keep the ball inside your defensive 50. Shelley Heath, just a really dangerous handball to the corridor. And Brisbane, Charlotte Mullins just pounces on it. It's just the last place you want to deliver the ball to the opposition. That one needed to go boundary side, keep it skinny and allow your defenders to get in behind it. But Charlotte Mullins too good not to make the most of it.
So margin back out to 9 points. Campbell just tries to push it forward from the middle. It's Mullins with the kick. And Anderson swooping on the footy. Looks inside 50 towards Hampson, who does the body work early. Flicks it round the corner. Just too skinny. 3 for 1 behind.
Pressing now, aren't they, the Lions? They're really asserting their dominance on this game. Territory 5-2 inside 50s, ramping up the pressure with the tackles to 12-6 for this quarter alone. It looks more like a Brisbane game, 7 clearances to 3 in the third term as well.
And that's Melbourne's one more usually clearance game. They're getting belted on the inside in this third term. Campbell to Grider. They look to open up the 50 to the far side. Postlethwaite. They've got some space to work in. It was worked for Smith. Well done, Heath, to get across. Still there for Taylor Smith. Back to Postlethwaite. Bends it inside 50. Grider on the end of it. Does not have a shot. She's gone 83 games without kicking a goal. No, she does the disciplined thing. Ruby Spark drops the mark. Time to recover. Quick kick to the front of the pack. Booted away by O'Hare. Dunn tracks the football. He's got a few metres on Gall, left it behind. Ball went in underneath Jen Dunn. Gall comes in, holds it in there. Umpire waits and penalises Jen Dunn. But it was a slow play, so at least it allowed the Lions to get numbers behind the football, and they certainly have done that.
Goes short towards Paxman. Looks back inboard. I'd love to just keep the footy for a bit with Mathadis. Gall chips it up, looking for Harris. Gets there with the dive. Near two now, you can see her options inside 50. Wants Hall. Too far to come.
And that's where they're missing Zanka, Kate.
Yeah, just a presence. It was Kate Hall that had to be the deepest forward. So if Taylor Harris is kicking it, that's the tall option in front of the footy without Zanka. So made it really hard on that occasion, and Brisbane got back in the leading lanes really well.
Davison a little up and under. There is Harris. Gets out the back. Hurried kick from Taylor towards half forward. Wotherspoon does really well on a 2-on-1 and then finds Mackin with the hand pass. Looks up towards Hall. Gets over the back. She just needs the bounce. Kate Horry, she's done enough. Not quite. Fabulous work from Ellinger. Hall tries to plead her case to the umpire. Here's the mark from Wotherspoon.
I think Kate Hall was pleading the case for arms around, and if that wasn't a hold, it's hard to see in the contest, but both players had a fair play on the footy for mine.
Campbell's kick towards Davidson, a fist from Harris. Taylor picks up the football and is worked over the line by Dawes. Denby Taylor and Sophie Conway come together.
It's funny that Bell Dawes went to make peace with Taylor Harris, and Denby Taylor and others were trying to make war.
Yeah, that's right. It's not often you see Bell Dawes as the peacemaker. Conway being harassed by McNamara, but doesn't have the football. Bit of niggle between those two as well. So it's a 9-point game. It's delicately balanced with 4.5 to play in this third term. Melbourne trying to rally here. Brisbane trying to resist. Good mark taken by Pearce, and the D's can keep it in their front half. How do they use it? It's smothered by Kathy Spark off the boot. Chaos ball now. Hanks receives from Lampard. Quick kick forward. Wotherspoon tries to drive the legs. Can't get through. Spills to McNamara. Quick kick inside 50. Harris's fist in there was important. Ball to ground. Taylor Harris with the tackle off the ball. Campbell has the free kick, and the Lions can steady again.
Did everything right in that play. Taylor Harris fought against 2 or 3 Brisbane players to bring it to ground, and then Campbell was just frustratingly laying a really good block on the footy, and Harris got a little bit frustrated with it, grabbed her, holding off the footy.
Ryder goes to Ellinger. And short kick just has enough on it to toss away. White pokes it short. As Ellinger has run on.
It's the uncontested game where Brisbane are just dominating, plus 38 in uncontested possessions in this game.
Ellinger now forced to go long down the wing. Out the back, Heath. Flips it over to Gillard. Looks back inside to Mackin. Breaks one tackle and then gets boot to ball. Out towards the boundary line, Bannon. Sharp to Mackin, who can't quite break the tackle. Goes back towards Bannon, who might be happy to be pushed over the boundary line by Ellinger.
It's been an eventful day for Jen Dunn, Nat Edwards.
Yeah, Jen Dunn, Brisbane defender, is currently on a bike on the Melbourne side of the interchange bench because that's where the bikes are placed at the moment. She came off earlier in the game with a left knee injury, came back on but just doesn't look comfortable and isn't moving freely. So just doing some work on the bike at the moment with the physio.
So both teams might be a player down at the same end of the ground. No Zanka and maybe no Dunn. Fitzsimon. Hanks looks inside. McNamara works hard to get there. Great running, Eliza McNamara. And one of those critical moments in a big final has arrived for Eliza McNamara.
Didn't panic, took the mark, and knew exactly what you just described, Jace. This is a big moment in the game, and she wanted to own it.
Eliza McNamara. She kicked 9-9 in her 57 games. 35 out. Kick on its way, flirts with the left post and misses.
Feeling like a goal each way in this last 2 minutes is really important, with the margin currently sitting at 8.
You almost feel like both teams, Melbourne probably need to score heading into three-quarter time, but both teams, with the way this has been so back and forth in the third term, would be pretty happy to concede right now and go into three-quarter time.
There's Ellinger, a bit too much on the kick. So Mackin Can send the D's back inside forward 50. It's a little untidy, and Campbell with an incredible grab.
Had Kate Hall running shotgun, needed to give that handball. She had no one between her and where Campbell was here. So she's just out of shot at the top of 50. Brisbane had +2 behind the footy.
And might get another opportunity here as McNamara's done enough to disrupt it over the boundary line against Conway.
Momentum is shifting here in Melbourne's favour.
Just as it did late in the second term, and the D's couldn't find the goal. Brisbane hung on. They've got a minute 19 to try and do so again, Brisbane. Melbourne circling, looking for a late shot. Pearce and Smith. Conway on the defensive side. Bends the kick to the wing. It beats Gillard. It beats Fark. It sits for O'Hare. High and wide. Mullen stands underneath it. Mackin the only one to go at it. Spills to the front. Hodder's body in there on Hanks was important. Hanks wins the football. Pokes it forward. Gall couldn't complete the grab. Davison couldn't find her boot. Hall there lurking, lay a tackle. It slapped out. Here is Hall. Links with McNamara. Steps. Gets past Dawes. Delivers inside 50. 2-on-1 against Harris. Harris goes to ground. And again, it's Campbell. Those experienced defenders in the big moments, owning them for Brisbane.
Some playing over the top. And hits Grider. The ball's up on the bench. The players will start to be aware of how much time's left. Just keeps it long down the broadcast wing. Here's with the initial flight. Davidson will hold on to this. And then goes for territory. A one-on-one down the line. Hampson, well, perhaps they could make them pay in the dying stages. Looks inside 50. Through the arms of a diving Spark. Gives it off again to Hampson. On the left, on the siren. Is it going to count? Yes, it is. The Lions get a late one that's so pivotal in this contest. And with that, the margin gets out to 14 points. As we turn for home with 1 quarter left to play here at Icon Park. Stick with us. We've got a cracker of a ball game.
All right, well, what could that be? The vital goal, folks. Right on the siren. She kicked the ball just and the siren went. Line snare and that golden goal there. 3/4 time. Hey, Joseph, how you doing? Welcome in. Cheers, shouty. What's going on? Who's everyone picking to win this game? Tell you what though, the Brisbane Lions, 6-2-38. Melbourne 3-6-24. Shouty every day. Shouty, cheer. I tell you what, this is a ring-a-ding-ding game here. I tell you what, both teams are pressing. Melbourne just not quite composed going inside their forward 50 that final 3 minutes. And unfortunately, they had a shot on goal straight out in front and went left of post, kicking to behind. Could have made it a little bit tighter, but gee whiz, I tell you what, that goal on the siren for the Brisbane Lions, out to a 14-point margin here now at 3/4 time. It's going to make it hard for Melbourne because Brisbane are certainly looking strong out there. That being said, still 14 points. Anyone can win this game, but my tip is still Brisbane Lions. Of course, Melbourne putting on 1-2 in that third term. The Lions snaring 3-1. There we go. Can Brisbane Lions go on and win this game, or can Melbourne, well, if they lose this game, they'll play the winner of Adelaide and St Kilda that's coming up next. So that should be an interesting battle for next week, whoever loses this game today. But certainly, to me, look, it's still anyone's game, but I think Brisbane, for me, could quite hang on. They're a pretty classy outfit. Let's just have a look at the goal scorers. We'll update that for everyone out there. And, of course, Ali Hampson is the only multiple goal scorer on the ground, leading the way for Brisbane Lions. She's kicked 2 goals, 1. Charlotte Mullins, Courtney Hodder, and Nisa Dooley, Dakota Davison, all singles there for the Brisbane Lions. Tell you what, got a few goal scorers there. For Melbourne, Maggie Mahoney, Kate Hoare and Talia Harris are the single goal scorers there for Melbourne. Up until 3/4 time, just looking at the ball magnets, we've got only 2 players that have reached 20 disposals so far or more up until 3/4 time. And of course, Kate Hoare, 22 leading the way for Melbourne. 15 kicks, 7 handballs, 3 marks, 2 tackles, 7 clearances, 1 goal, 1. She can't do much more for Melbourne, folks. There we go. She's having a cracking game. And of course, Elizabeth McNamara on 20. She's had a clearance, 13 kicks, 7 handballs, 3 marks, and a behind. Ola O'Dwyer and Alexandra Anderson, they lead the way for Brisbane, both on 19. So they're going reasonably well as well. Brisbane Lions, of course, love to share the ball around. As you can see, there's about 8 or 9 out of the top 11. Leading disposal getters all there for the Brisbane Lions. Isabel Dawes on 16, Jade Ellinger on 15 with Shannon Campbell, Sophie Conway on 14, Pottleswaite on 12 with Mullins, and Conan on 12 there with Dakota Davidson. Tyler Hanks there for Melbourne, next best on 12. Also Alyssa Bannon on 12. So we've got a few already into the double figures. There we go, we'll just roll on down there. Your player stats there. We just want to have a look at the inside forward 50s for both teams. Just want to see how they're going. Of course, we know Brisbane Lions are leading the way on disposal count. They are 43 plus. Inside forward 50s. Look, both teams are getting plenty of it. Melbourne actually 7 plus. They are 31 to 24 inside forward 50s. 31 for 9 scoring shots, 8 scoring shots for Melbourne, for Brisbane, 24 scoring shots. So Melbourne actually out shooting Lions, but you know, as we always say, folks, you've got to kick accurate. Accurate is the key. This is a key factor in footy. 6 goals 2 to 3 goals 6. And that's why, of course, Brisbane Lions in front. All right, let's head back down to the commentators. They'll take us into the bounce of the ball for the final quarter. Who's going to win this game? And tell you what, she's going to be a cracking final quarter the way it has been the first 3 quarters so far here at Icon Park. But so far, it's the Brisbane Lions leading by 14 points. Let's head back down to the commentators. They'll take us to the bounce of the ball for the final quarter. Good luck, both teams.
Passionate instruction to his players. They need to find 3 goals, Nat, if they're to get a home preliminary final.
There's so much on the line, Jay. So I was just over at the D's huddle, and you're right, Mixed in here, he just really brings some energy. He is urging his players to own their voice, so he wants to hear them, and he really wants them to drive and run and rediscover some of that. Contest is really important. He re-emphasised just how important that is. As we know, the Brisbane Lions have been on top in that department for the last couple of quarters. So he's just really urging them to find their voice and find some energy. As we know, preliminary final spot is on the line. Can the D's do it? We'll have to wait and see.
That's the question. Part 1 of our Sunday doubleheader this afternoon. Adelaide and St Kilda coming up straight after this game. That one, an elimination final. Winner of this game goes straight through to home preliminary final. The loser will play the winner of that game next week.
And that clearance that Nat talked of, so 10 to 3 in the clearances in that third term, Brisbane's way. The 3 clearances, all to Kate Hall. Tyler Hanks got her hands on the footy some more, 7 possessions for that quarter alone. Kate Hall needs some help around clearance though.
Can their big name midfielders get it done in the final turn? Kate Hall gets the first touch. They trail by 14 points. Here's Hanks. A slight double clutch off to Paxman. They're the big 3 we're talking about. Now Lauren Pearce gets involved. To half forward. Allinger lunges, doesn't complete the grab. Marnie over the top. Anderson to O'Dwyer. To half forward. Pearce pushes back on the contest. It gets to Denby Taylor at the back. Ruby Sparks sweats on her. He goes hotter. Tries to paddle to advantage. Does so. Delivers inside 50. Gets over the back. Taylor now needs to gather and be clean. She is. Well played. Off to Gillard. Looks up. Not much to kick to. It's all Brisbane down the line. Harris is going to have to go in the air against multiple opponents. Now likewise on the ground. Numbers almost win out. Conway's handball smothered by Hoare. Coming in there was Anderson. She's collected by Marnie. D's win the little scrimmage. Wotherspoon's handball over the top. Marnie couldn't take it cleanly. Greider does. Bounces to half forward. Dawes with a couple to beat. All the numbers are on the inside. Finds Anderson. Quick kick towards the 50. Hodder attacks it at speed. Handball inside. Spark run down. Releases the handball. Ruby to Kathy. To the top of the goal square. Smith's there. Davidson's there. Here comes Paxman. Leaves it behind. Mullins. She's ripped down by Taylor. Umpire says holding the football and Melbourne hang on.
Taylor. Again looks long and wide. This time McNamara with the juggling mark. Short. Rises up to take it. Not a lot of movement ahead of Kate Hall. And in the end, Anderson able to get a smother on the footy. Have another go at it, the D's. This one hemmed in near the boundary line. Taylor needs to get a hand on it. Harris just got out of it by Dunn.
Yeah, good call, Joe. There was no movement at all for Kate Hoare up the field. Just some chaos movement in and out. Just try and disrupt this defence of Brisbane. Both defences have been so well set all day, but if you don't move, it's going to make them a little bit easier for them.
Pearce takes front spot against Hickey. Anderson, strong body work. Has 21 disposals already. He's won herself the free kick. Held on to without the footy. Chips it short. Finds Hickey, who wants to move it immediately through the middle. Paxman's read it well. She can find some options now. Kate Hoare. Streaming through Gillard. Throws it on the boot inside 50. Can they find a mark? Almost a goal. It was Campbell in the end. And Brisbane can combine to get rid of it, although Paxman swooping on the loose footy. One way then the other, Paxi. A little hand pass over the top, this time looking for Gall, who's got 2 to beat. And Campbell's up to the task. Flips it over the top, and eventually it trickles over the boundary line for a throw in.
Paxi Paxman lifting in this final term. 36 years young, playing game 90 this afternoon. Been in these big situations before, trying to put her team on her back, along with the likes of Hoare and Hanks. Pearce slapped away to O'Dwyer. Kick to a dangerous position here. Hodder comes out and attacks it. The handball missed Anderson. There to clean it up was O'Dwyer. Goes for a run. Little chip kick over the top was nicely weighted to Mullins. Has a couple of runners forward of the football. Mullins' kick sets Ruby Spark a task against Taylor. Taylor uses the support. Gillard needs to be quick. Just got the kick in. They've run themselves into some trouble because the cavalry's arrived for Brisbane. Here's Mullins. Backs off Gillard. Gillard gets the smother. And eventually the D's escape once again. Hoare, the exit kick. Paxman, 2-on-1. Needs support there from Gall. Somehow wins it. Pokes it to Campbell. Campbell towards half forward. Another 2-on-1 in favour of Brisbane. Conan at the back. Bannon to try and put some pressure on. Heath now gets involved and is taken high. Wotherspoon 1-on-1 inside 50 if Heath goes quickly. Off to Hoare. Hoare's got to run it to the outside. McNamara crosses the arc. Little touch kick inside was good, and there is Wotherspoon.
Well, finals are all about moments. Talia Gillard had a couple in the defensive 50, ended up popping up, getting a really important smother. Paxi Paxman on the far wing has a 2-on-1 and wins that, and they just wheel the ball forward.
Dramatically improved this year, Riley Wotherspoon. Big moment for her. 35 out. Gives it a ride. Just misses to the right-hand side.
So it wasn't pretty for Melbourne to get that mark inside forward 50, but they won more moments than they lost, and that's how they ended up marching up the field and getting that opportunity. But at some point, 3 goals, 7, you have to make the Brisbane Lions pay on the scoreboard.
Interestingly, this year it's often been the Lions. They've been ill-directed in front of goal. They've been on fire today. There's Hanks. 1-2. Tickling ball to the outside. Paxman needs some support and finds it. The D's go back inside 50. Harris at the back with the one hand. Dayton working. Wotherspoon this time she can make them pay. They're hanging in there, the D's. It took some time to find it, but they've got the important first goal in the last term. So now a 7-point margin. Still got over 11 minutes to play. Just finding a little bit of momentum, the D's. A bit more time with the footy inside their forward half.
Well, Riley Wotherspoon, this has been one of the best games I've seen her play. Taylor Harris here just does everything she can to bring the ball to ground. That is the perfect spot to be as that medium-sized forward. I'm not going to call her a small forward. She's a little bit too tall for that, but clean skills at ground level, exactly what she needs. Didn't make them pay the kick before, but does on that occasion. And 21 games into her career, that is a clutch goal.
The Queenslander from Mackay kicks a goal to get her side back within 7 points. Hanks goes off the ground. Here's Wotherspoon again. Can't get away from Ellinger. So you can't say Melbourne haven't created the opportunities as Jen Dunn continues to pedal away. They're +7 for inside 50s. They're +3 for scoring shots. They trail by 7 points. Dooley. Dawes. Blasts past Campbell. Kick goes inside 50. Tracking it back. Ruby Spark almost with courage. And then swamped. Gillard. Knocked down off her hands. Taken by Davidson. Rolls it goalward. And it's sucked through by Anderson. Quick response from the Lions. Brisbane straight back out to a 13-point lead. Ellie Anderson with her fourth goal of the season. A perfect answer from the Lions. Margin back out to 13.
There's this huge marking contest here. Have a look at Ruby Spark just going back with the flight. Fairly sure it was Ellie Hansen that actually took the mark away from her, but all's well that ends well, because look at Ali Anderson's ability to cover the ground here. She's come from the centre bounce clearance that has just occurred and pushed all the way down. She's beaten every single player. And it doesn't matter if you kick the cover of it or it's a deft touch like that. A goal is a goal, and that is an important goal.
Little goal off the shin. She'll take it anyway. So back in the middle, margin out to 13 points. There is Anderson again. Head over the footy. McNamara has her wrapped up. Still able to get the hand pass away. O'Dwyer sliding on hands and knees, looks for Dawes. McNamara finds Fitzsimon up towards half forward. Charging over at Grider. Campbell is there, and for Ellinger, the Lions are away again. They load through the middle. Davidson will take the mark. Players stream past her. She looks for an option. This one will work out okay for Dooley. Spearing ball inside 50, gets over the back. Potter keeps it in front, finds a little hand pass to Hampson, who loses her feet, bobs up. Flying shot towards goal is going to be marked by Postlethwaite.
Well, it's sheer running power at the moment that's getting this done for the Lions. They're outworking the Ds from contest to contest, and they're holding better structure around the contest that they're at. Really starting to get on top now.
Hasn't kicked a goal this year, Postlethwaite. Just 6 in 51 games. Make it 7, and they extend the margin to 19 points now, the Lions. Well, you thought the Ds were right back in it after that goal to Wotherspoon to open the term. But 2 now to the line through Anderson and Postlethwaite. And that margin extends out to a game-high 19-point lead.
Another goal from turnover for the Brisbane Lions. That's 4 goals straight from them, but they're just outworking the Ds now, getting to more contests, every single one of their players. And then Lily Postlethwaite, who's played a fair chunk of the game in defence, finds herself on the wing and allows herself the freedom to run all the way to the attacking goal square.
First goal of the season for Lily Postlethwaite. A timely one, margin out to 19 points. Hall and Mullins. Here's Rigoni with a tackle on Conway. The Ds have it all to do now. Inside 9 minutes. They trail by 19 points. If they look to rally early in the final term, Brisbane responded and then some. Hartle taken down. Campbell couldn't emerge. Conway in over the top.
What a luxury for Craig Starcevich. He's got Courtney Hodder that can go up to stoppage, but also Charlotte Mullins. She's had 5 clearances and 16 disposals today. She's been everywhere at stoppage.
Right on cue, she wins another one, K-Mac. Panic from Gillard there. She had the opportunity to take it in the hands, just threw the boot at it and coughed it up. So here's what's on the line. Brisbane at the moment heading towards a home preliminary final at Springfield in a fortnight's time. If things stay as they are, Melbourne will play the winner of Adelaide and St Kilda here next week in a cutthroat semi-final. Still time for the D's. Gillard taken down by Spark. Quick kick from Anderson. Crunch. Front on contact, free kick. It's going to come back to Eliza McNamara. So the time is now for the D's. What can they come up with? They need movement ahead of the football, and there's not a lot for McNamara, so she'll go short. Here's Taylor. The half leads you can see there on the right of screen. Taylor will kick it towards Bannon. Worked under it by Conan. Wotherspoon trying to make something happen and does. Off to Fitzsimon. It's a one-on-one ahead of the football. Pearce takes the grab. But all the numbers tracking back at Brisbane's. 4 players all heading back inside 50, all Brisbane. So Pearce has to hold it up. Look at that last defensive line that the Lions have set up. There's the numbers, and they should win out. Potter's handball a little fierce for Conway. Rigoni comes in to put some pressure on, and all things considered, that's not a bad result for the D's.
Yeah, absolutely. You caught it perfectly, Jace. Lions just still running strongly.
Lauren Pearce has gone into the forward line to just try and add some height, but they've lost with Zanka being out, so she'll find herself sitting there, I'd say, for the rest of the game.
Squeezes out towards Mackin, who flips it to Heath. Perhaps looking for Pearce now. In a one-on-one, she gets front spot, has a couple of bites. Couldn't reel it in. Fitzsimon goes back towards Gall. Under pressure, putting the tackle in now. This could be holding the footy if it doesn't come out. And Grider's pinged. So Gall will have the chance from directly in front.
I like that change from McStinia. They needed some height in the forward line. Lauren Pearce gets a really important mark on the play before and then just does everything she can against Shannon Campbell to bring that to a predictable spot for her teammates.
Fair to say, an important kick for Georgia Gall. Just to cut the margin to 13. Looks good off the boot. They're happy with it. The D's still alive in this one. So Melbourne led at quarter time by 14 and then trailed by 3 at the half. Brisbane were out to a 14-point lead at three-quarter time. It's been 2 goals apiece, and that margin is still sitting at 13. Just under 6 minutes to play. Cracking contest here at Icon Park, the week 1 of finals.
Huge goal that keeps Melbourne in this game with just under 6 minutes remaining. 13 points the margin now. They've won the 2 centre-bounce clearances of this term, Melbourne. They need a third here.
George Campbell continues in the ruck with Pearce forward. Here goes Dawes. Brisbane look for the response again. Dawes kick towards half forward. Well done, Debbie Taylor. Got the hands free. Dawes just kept going. Second effort and a third. Bell Dawes gets to 50. Drills it towards Smith. Couldn't take the grab. Here's the dangerous Hampson taken down by Gillard. And Gillard rewarded for a legal disposal there from Hampson. Off to Heath. Hall. Surrounded, drew a crowd, gave it to Lampard. Touch kick good, back to Heath. Shelley's run really important in this final term. O'Hare's just come off the bench, not spotted. Hall goes the other way to the city side, and that'll suit Conway. Read it nicely. Kate Hall down behind the play. Kick towards Ruby Spark at half forward. Brisbane can go into match management mode to an extent. Certainly to the point of not having to take too many risks. And that kick's good. Finds Taylor Smith just inside 50. Smith pokes it to the pocket. Anderson's found some space. Ellie Anderson could take her 30 seconds. Run down the clock and allow Brisbane to set up behind the football, which they do so well.
That's the run of Ali Anderson just coming into play again. She's a cut above. This is a 26th disposal and 10 of those are contested. She's just got them from sheer work rate, covering the ground beautifully this afternoon.
15-28 in her AFLW career, her glittering career. Game 106 this afternoon for Ellie Anderson. One of the greats from 40 out. Knuckles the moment. Anderson gets her second. And Brisbane are on their way. "26 possessions, 10 contested, 8 ground ball gets, 250 metres gained, 3 inside 50s, 2 goals for Ali Anderson."
What a finals performance from Ali Anderson. 26 disposals, 3 clearances, 10 contested possessions, and 2 goals to go with it. She's not prolifically a goal-scoring midfielder, but that was top shelf from Ali Anderson.
Back in the middle, Hall. He's tried so hard all day. 30 disposals next to her name. Dawes under pressure. Heath did well. Postlethwaite flips it over the top. It bounces away from Hall. Postlethwaite goes again, loses it in the tackle. Dwyer towards 50. Taylor went without it, goes back to Finer, gets tackled by Mullins. There's Anderson again, crunch between a couple of Ds. Hall flips it over the top to Heath. Can they find a little bit of run as Hanks went without it? Heath tracking the loose ball again. Breaks free of the O'Dwyer tackle. Get it back here, Heath. Under pressure, thrown into the deck. Jumped on by a couple of Lions. And it's a ball up.
That's the relentless pressure we've seen all afternoon. They've just been able to blanket Melbourne. After the D's had the better of the first quarter and a bit. But as they did 2 weeks ago in Springfield, Brisbane have managed to successfully close the exits on the D's. O'Dwyer leaves it behind. Hanks continues to fight on. Lovely one-handed gather. And then off balance, kicks it to Nat Edwards. That was yours, Nat. Go back with the flight.
I was ready, Jace. I was ready. It just went over my head. I'm a bit short.
It's Brisbane's ability, yes, to get contest to contest, but when you look at the contest playing out, the jumpers of Brisbane cover all exits of the stoppage, whereas Melbourne, because they're so desperate to make an impact currently, all of the blue jumpers are collapsing in.
O'Dwyer's kick, Gillard. Fitzsimons stood up in the tackle and then wrestled to the turf. So the margin at 19 as we tick towards 2 minutes to play in the second qualifying final.
Campbell goes against Smith. Potter emerges with the footy. Throws it on the boot inside 50. Amps in a one-on-one with Taylor. Gillard provides the support. Just got to go to end to end here, the D's, as McNamara takes the mark. Slowly trickle across towards the other side. That's not going to get it done. Short to O'Hare. Gives it back to McNamara and a little bit of run. Hits into the middle. Through the congestion. And Anderson flips it out the back towards Conan. He does enough to get boot to ball. Here's to Paxman. Flips it over the top. Wotherspoon will give it back to Paxman. Needs an option inside 50 and kicks it towards Bannon, who is unopposed. Knows time is against them. And so runs on and slots it for Alyssa Bannon. Margin down to 13. With a minute and 14 on the clock. Bannon with some good game sense there. Understanding that as time ticks away.
Nice composure, good ball use. The 2 wingers for Melbourne have done everything they can this afternoon. Paxman and Eliza McNamara have just not stopped running. They were really important in that chain, as was Kate Hoare. Really nice composure, feeding the ball inside forward 50, but you feel like time is against Melbourne at the moment unless they can get this purely out of the centre for a mark and a very quick goal.
Such a clever kick from Paxman. She dictated where Bannon ran. Bannon was heading back to the square and Paxi said, no, turn around. Margin at 13. Can they get a clean takeaway? No, it's Brisbane who do. Anderson to Kathy Spark. Bounces it in to inside 50 to Smith. Spark follows up again. Handball to Hampson against Taylor. Hodder coming the other way. Hanks rips it away from the contest. Feeds the handball through to Marnie. She's swamped. Hickey goes down, finds the football off to Postlethwaite. Hampson's kick smothered by McNamara. Hodder versus Paxman. Socket forward by McNamara. Taken by Bannon. Off to Wotherspoon. Kick inside the 50. Will bounce. Allenjup versus Hall. Hall comes in over the top. Numbers arrive first for Brisbane. It's Conan. She's taken down as well. And as we hit the 30-second mark. Ball up.
It's been a top quality game of football, hasn't it? First final was scrappy, second one was very affected by the weather, but this one has been absolutely top shelf from both of these teams.
Dwyer to Hodder. Hodder taken high, and as we saw a couple of weeks ago, Brisbane just demonstrating that maybe just got another gear to go to that Melbourne don't at this point.
Plenty of things though for Melbourne to clean up from this game that have sort of come back to haunt them a little bit on the scoreboard, but plenty of positives for them.
Been right in it all day. Hanks, Fitzsimon. And the Lions are headed for a home preliminary final. Brisbane set up their premiership assault with a critical win that gives them a week off to prepare for Hawthorn or Carlton.
What is that?
That's the entrance to my high school.
All right, folks, there we go. Game, set, match. Brisbane Lions, good victors here. 13-point winners over Melbourne. 9-2-56, 4-6-7-43. Look, Melbourne gave it all. But Brisbane Lions, as they said, they had another gear to go to. They're just a classy outfit. The Brisbane Lions, of course, putting on 3 straight goals in that final term. Brisbane, 3 goals, 1 Melbourne in that final term, actually winning the final quarter. But look, I think Melbourne will be a big chance. Next game, Chair, to continue on their merry way. They'll play the winner of Adelaide or St Kilda coming up next. Yeah, this game is done and dusted. We're going to head on over to the next game in just a moment. We're just going to quickly run through the leading goal scorers and stats, and then we're going to head over to the other one. Ellie Hampson, Alexandra Anderson, multiple goal scorers. They were the best for Brisbane with a couple. Pottleswaite, Mullins, Hodder, Dooley, Davison, singles for Brisbane. For Melbourne, Witherspoon got 1, Mahoney, Hoare, Harris, Gall, and Bannon were the single goal scorers there for Melbourne. Leading disposal getters out on the ground, Kate Hall with 31, only one in the 30s. Next best for Melbourne was Eliza McNamara, 27, Tyler Hanks, 21. And for Brisbane Lions, Alexandra Anderson on 28 there, top of the table for Brisbane. Orla O'Dwyer, 26, Dawes, 21. They are your goal scorers and your leading possession getters. I'll just roll down this, just in case anyone's watching this later and want to have a look at the stats on the players. I'll just roll this one over. But a fantastic game here. Tell you what, both of these sides could go a fair way into the finals. Melbourne, of course, they probably need to just tidy up a few things there, but Brisbane, just a classy outfit. They're going to go a long way. Wouldn't surprise me. I think one of the only things is I think one of these teams on this side of the draw actually meet North Melbourne if they continue to win to see who goes into the grand final. So it's going to be tough for these sides, but it's going to be a good journey nonetheless for them. Anyway, folks, that is game, set, match for this one. Another fantastic game. Nice and close game, just 13 points to margin in the end. So we are going to head on over to the next game coming up in just a few minutes' time. But thanks, everyone, for dropping on into the live stream today, listening to the coverage. Thanks, Ryan. Thanks, Chia. Happy birthday for tomorrow, Ryan. Joseph, cheers, mate. Eddie G was in their house earlier on as well. All right, folks. Hey, thanks all for coming on in. That's all we've got for this coverage. It will say see you over at the next one. If you want to listen on into the Adelaide St Kilda game elimination final, it's going to be a ripper too. So we are certainly going to be looking forward to that one. That's being played over there in Adelaide at Norwood Oval. That game starts in about 3 minutes' time. All right, folks. Hey, thanks a lot. Until next time, ciao for now. We'll see you at the next game.